In this video, I'll show you how to use the Clause Participants tool to find all the places where God blessed someone in the Bible. Then I'll narrow my results to just the book of Genesis and expose the various objects of God's blessing in this book. So imagine that you're reading through the Genesis narrative, and you want to find every place in this book where God blessed someone or something. With Logos, we can track down this information using the Clause Participants tool. First, open the ESV Bible to Genesis 1:22. And notice that here, God blessed the fish and the fowl of the air, then issued the command to be fruitful, multiply, and fill the waters in the sea. A little further down, in verse 28, God blessed Adam and Eve, then issued a similar command. And this concept of God's blessing is a major theme running through this book of the Bible. So let's use Logos to find out who or what God blessed in Genesis. As we're searching for other places where God blessed in the book of Genesis, we first need to expose the Hebrew term for blessed. And you can do this by right-clicking the term in verse 28. And notice that in the context menu, Logos tells me that the word blessed comes from the Hebrew lemma barak. To discover as much information as possible for this term, select the lemma to the right and choose to run a Bible word study report. When the report generates, Logos displays all sorts of language information for this Hebrew lemma. For this lesson, I want us to focus in on the section called Clause Participants. Here, Logos tells me the grammatical and semantic roles tied to this Hebrew lemma. And you can switch between the two options by selecting the role view from the right. In the semantic roles view, I can see all of the semantic roles connected to the Hebrew word for blessed, like agents and patients. In the grammatical roles view, I can see the subjects, objects, and so forth tied to this verb. Notice when I expand the hits for object Abraham, Logos shows me every occasion where this important figure is blessed by someone. As you might expect, most of the hits come from Genesis, but in Isaiah 51:2, the prophet challenged his hearers to remember how God blessed their father Abraham and made him numerous. For this study, we're looking for places in the text where God blessed someone or something. To find these references, click to expand the hits for subject God. Here, Logos uncovers 92 places in the Bible where God acts as the subject of the verb bless. The first couple of hits come from Genesis 1, which we looked at earlier. Again, in verse 22, God blessed the fish and the birds. Then in verse 28, he blessed Adam and Eve. Then in Genesis 2:3, God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. As you continue to scan through your results, you'll find other people and things blessed by God, and the list is quite long. To narrow the results to just the book of Genesis, open up a new search and choose to run a clause search. Here we can find the same information exposed in the Bible Word Study Report. For this search, adjust your Bible references from all passages to Genesis. Then, make sure you're searching the Lexham Hebrew Bible. Finally, input subject, God, followed by the operator and in all capital letters. Then enter verb lemma, followed by the transliteration of the Hebrew lemma barak. Then select the same lemma we investigated in the Bible Word Study Report. When I run the search, Logos returns 27 results where God is the subject of blessed in Genesis. To view your results in English, click the Add Version box at the top, then input your translation of choice. Now I'm looking at my hits in Hebrew and English, and the information I want regarding how God blessed is highlighted in both. To go one step further, we can organize our results by the recipients of God's blessing by switching from the verse view to the analysis view. The analysis tool is incredibly powerful and allows us to organize our results by the data connected to them. Across the top, notice that one of the column headers reads Object, and in this column, Logos lists all of the objects tied to our search hits. To group the hits by their objects, click and drag this column header into the space above. With this action, Logos groups together the different occasions when God blessed people, like Jacob and Abraham. To see a full list of the objects blessed by God in Genesis, right-click the group header and choose to collapse all. From the list of objects, it's apparent that blessing is a major theme in this book, and the vast majority of God's blessing is directed towards people. To get started using the Clause Participants tool, click Get Logos 6.